Episode 8 of Breakaway Rail Talk. And I couldn't be more excited because not only do we have a up and coming talent in the industry, but one of my friends in the industry, and there's only like 3 of them that admit it, is Samantha Perry, who is the Gulfstream Park racing analyst, Paddock host, extraordinaire, all of doing everything that's needed to be done to keep that place afloat. Samantha, thanks so much for coming aboard on Breakaway Rail Talk.
Thank you. I love the podcast, and I watch it a lot. I see it on Twitter all the time. So excited to be here. Good.
Well, now you know you've made the big time. I mean, you went from Monmouth Park personality to Gulfstream Park personality, but now you're on the Breakaway Rail Talk. So, I expect to see this on your resume going forward.
Yeah, I could just retire now, really.
With all the Breakaway Rail Talk royalties, they'll be soon be rolling in, right?
Perfect. Yes, yeah, exactly.
So we actually met at Monmouth Park a few years ago, and it was like the first time that we had run a horse at Monmouth Park in 3 or 4 years. And of course, I'm talking about Web Slinger in the now defunct NowNowNow stake. But I think that was the first year. It was $500,000, and it was like at the end of the meet.
Yep.
What was that meet like for you at Monmouth Park? And tell everyone a little bit about how you got started as a racing analyst and television personality.
Yeah, wow. So Monmouth, before, as you know, and people who don't know, I was a jockey and a quarter horse jockey. And then when I got out of that, I was galloping for trainer Brendan Walsh, and I would travel with him between Kentucky and Florida. And one year during a championship meet in Florida, I had asked, how I want to get, I was looking for another plan. I'm always thinking like, okay, what's the next move here? And I was trying to get a job on the other side of the industry because I can't gallop forever, honestly. Would be fun, but you couldn't do it. It's just not feasible. And so I started shooting cameras for Gulfstream Park. So I worked the championship meet just recording. I actually was Acacia Clement's camera girl in the paddock. And I just started listening and paying attention. And I was like, you know what? I think I can do this. Like, I went to school for this. I think I could probably do this. So I made a demo reel and I sent it out to every single track. And Monmouth was like, yeah, we'll try you out. So it was interesting to get into it. I know it's hard. It's hard when you're first breaking in. And then I was the only one doing the morning shows at Monmouth. Wow. So I was just me talking, which is a big learning curve, especially when you're getting thrown into doing this. But that was at the end of the meet when I met you. So hopefully I was like a little bit better by then.
You were polished. You were ready. You had like your 30-second sound bites down and everything, and you nailed it. I was just glad that we won the race, so that way it would give us a chance to like talk and find out, just what you were about and what you were doing.
Yeah,
because,
I know. It was awesome. You ran, Cassie had 2 in the race, one favorite, and then you guys were the huge long shot, and he broke his maiden
right
in that race. Yeah, I feel like me and Web Slinger were on the same development path. Like we both just slowly we both broke our maiden at Monmouth, and we both just like kept on going. So.
Well, that's very high esteem, both you and Web Slinger, because you're both killing it right now. And
Yeah.
what's the next step for you? Like you say that you wanted to be in front of the camera eventually, and then is there an additional plan that you can disclose as to where Samantha Perry is going to be 5 to 10 years from now?
In 5 to 10 years, I think that probably being back in Oklahoma and covering the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's
right.
That's the goal.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I know we text back and forth about just how well Oklahoma City is. So even though you left Oklahoma, you can take the girl out of Oklahoma. You can't take Oklahoma out of the girl. Tell us about your fandom with the NBA team, the Thunder.
Yeah, it's our only professional sports team that we have in Oklahoma. So we've got like AAA baseball, and we have, of course, college football. OU and OSU are pretty big with that, but it was our first professional team, and it's so exciting. It's very easy in Oklahoma to get tickets to basketball games. It's not like here in Miami, right. That it's so expensive, and everybody can be a fan of the Oklahoma City Thunder. And we've gone through some growing pains, but this year it looks like we're doing really good. So it's exciting. I'm ready for playoffs.
Absolutely. Multi-sport. And then, Samantha, is your plan ultimately to take over as point guard there? Or?
Oh, yeah, because my height really just works for that, right?
It's like the Muggsy Bogues and Spud Webb. I mean, you could totally get there. You could do it.
Yeah, maybe. It'll be a different aspect interviewing now because jockeys I interview and they're my height. But with the NBA players, it's going to be like carry a step stool around with me.
You just pretty much, that is going to be the title of my autobiography is Carry a Step Stool. That's pretty much.
Well, yeah, you know what it's like.
I know what it's like.
I mean, you're still taller than me, but.
Yeah, but being vertically challenged, that's why I think we all gravitate to hanging around jockeys because it does make you.
I know.
Feel better.
It does. And I look at them, I'm like, oh, they're short. And somebody's like, Samantha, they're taller than you. Like, wait, what? You never see yourself as that short.
As that short, right? Yeah. So when you were galloping horses for Brendan Walsh and you were a quarter horse jockey, what insights do those jobs give you when you're looking at horses coming into a race or in the post parade?
Oh man, so much, because I feel like you can take a galloping job. I've learned more galloping than I did racing, honestly. Probably just because I was just so young. Well, I was 21 when I started racing, professionally. So that still just was young to me. Like you think you know a lot and you don't, just about the horse in general. So I felt like it wasn't even until after I retired from actually being a jockey that I learned so much more just working for Brendan. And one of his assistant trainers at the time taught me a lot just about feeling different things with the horse. And Brendan, he's a very sharp trainer with, in good, you're kind of forced to give feedback that, maybe sometimes isn't always that good with certain horses, but it's good. It helps you, it keeps your mind sharp. And, the sales, I didn't get into the sales until recently. And that's a whole other thing, just looking at horses, watching them breeze, watching them walk, that's been a game changer.
Absolutely. So are you eventually looking to start shortlisting for people, or when you go to sales, you're looking at the horses because eventually they're gonna graduate and come to the racetrack?
Yeah, probably that. And then just be like at some random track, like, oh man, I remember seeing this horse breeze at the Fastest to May sale, like, I didn't like this horse, or I did, or whatever. Yeah. Right.
No, absolutely. No, I think that's invaluable, especially when you can see them at that young age and then, developing 4-6 months later and just see how they would do. And now with the advent of the synthetic track at Gulfstream, it gives you a comparable, at least from Ocala, when they breeze on that synthetic to Gulfstream. That seems to be one of the toughest things that people have said about the synthetic is how to handicap that course. What suggestions or recommendations would you give to the audience as far as, figuring out how a horse is going to like that synthetic racetrack?
Yeah, I think that there's such a stigma that's like we want it. We want 11 race cards on the all-weather surface. And unfortunately, it's just what races are filling right now. And there's nothing, it's not like we're doing it on purpose by any means. And it's not like I will be honest, it's a grind to handicap because I feel like it's whose turn is it today? Mm-hmm. And it's not always the best horse that's going to win. And then, of course, the weather changes on it. And it can change. You know how the Florida weather changes. You will get pouring rain in the morning and it will tighten it up races 1 through 4. But then 5 through 8, where it gets really hot after the rain comes, and then it opens up and it gets a bit more spongy and It slows it down. And that's one thing. Like, think about when you look, I mean, you know this, but to people who don't, when you watch the OBS sales, that's why they put the temperature and the time of day when you're watching the breezes. So, if it's slower or quicker, so that can change. But I would just, Brian and Ron and I try to do a good job of paying attention. Like, hey, it looks like it's inside speed, or it's this or that. Like, we try to tell. But then there's sometimes that you're just like dead wrong. And it can get frustrating. It really can, because it's like, I think it was like Sunday, I didn't have like any winners except on the dirt races, and so it can get you down as a handicapper. Like, what, do I suck now? But it's just not that. You just try to do the best that you can.